It is Sunday, April 12th, and it is also episode number 30 of Comic Book Jeopardy, so get ready for another fun-filled episode of questions and answers that will challenge your knowledge of comic books and more. What's up, everyone? I'm Guy Wozniak, and you are watching the Comic Book Guy channel. Now, unfortunately, my good friend and my co-host Matt is sick this week, so he won't be here to help us with the show, but hopefully I will suffice for you today. Now, this week we have 30 new questions and answers across 6 different categories, but before we dive into those questions, here's a quick explanation of the categories that we have this week. Category number 1 today will be the Amazing Spider-Man, and this will be the second time we've dedicated a full category to the wall-crawling web-slinger himself, and the last time was all the way back in episode number 3. Next up, we have Deja Blue. And yeah, you guessed it, these are questions all about characters in comics that are primarily or entirely blue characters. For category number 3 today, we have Cinema Synonyms. And we will take a comic book movie title, but we're going to change the title using synonyms for every word in the title, and you have to guess what movie we are referring to. Category number 4 today will be comical mashups, and in this one you have some pictures, and the picture will be a mashup of 2 different characters. All you have to do is name the 2 characters that we have mashed up. Category number 5 is hair-raising characters, and it's a category all about rabbits and rabbit-based characters in comics. And yeah, we meant to get this one in before Easter, but we missed it. But, this is still a fun category, so we're gonna roll with it. And finally, category number 6 is Hanna-Barbera Toons, and it's a series of questions all about the classic Hanna-Barbera cartoons of the past. Now, of course, category number 6 is our wildcard category, and it is the subject of the weekly members poll every week, meaning channel members get to vote on and help select this category every single week. So real quick, let me give a shout out to all of our channel members who have signed up and who are helping support the show this and every week. We really appreciate you guys. Thank you very, very much for that. If you'd like to support the channel and vote on the members only polls as well, all you gotta do, click that little join button down below this video player and grab yourself a membership. Now, with all of that said, let's dive into the questions and start out with Amazing Spider-Man for 200. First appearing in Amazing Spider-Man number 2, this villain's real name is Adrian Toomes, but he is better known by this name. Who is the Vulture? Deja Blue for 200. An expert in math, biochemistry, and genetics, he is one of the most intelligent mutants in the world. Who is Beast, or Dr. Hank McCoy? Cinema Synonyms for 200. Phantom Biker. What is Ghost Rider? Comical mashups for 200. Who are Rogue and the Hulk? Yeah, so you kind of see how this comical mashups category works. We'll just take 2 separate characters, squish them together, and you gotta figure it out. Hair-raising characters for 200. Lorena Dodson became a minor Spider-Man villain based on the Alice in Wonderland character that Alice chased. Yeah, of course, who is the White Rabbit? Even if you didn't know that Spider-Man villain, you probably could have guessed it if you knew Alice in Wonderland. Hanna-Barbera Toons for 200. Perhaps Hanna-Barbera's most popular show, it ran for 166 episodes starting in 1960, and you might say they're a page right out of history. What is the Flintstones? And that will do it for the 200-point cupcake round. We're gonna ratchet up the difficulty a little bit and dive into the 400-point questions. The Amazing Spider-Man for 400. This villain manipulated and deceived the vigilante The Punisher to kill Spider-Man in issue number 129 of The Amazing Spider-Man. Who is the Jackal? His first appearance, and the Punisher or Frank Castle's first appearance as well. Deja Blue for 400. This space pirate uses a whistle-controlled arrow as his weapon of choice. Who is Yondu? Cinema synonyms for 400. Protectors of the Cosmos. What is Guardians of the Galaxy? Comical mashups for 400. Who are Doc Ock and Black Manta, or of course Dr. Octopus if you prefer. Hair-raising characters for 400. Heavily influenced by Japanese cinema, this white rabbit samurai has appeared in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comics several times over the years. Who is Miyamoto Musashi, or Usagi Yojimbo? Now, a lot of people think that Usagi Yojimbo was the character's name, but that's not true. His name was Miyamoto Musashi. Usagi Yojimbo was just the title of his comic book. Hanna-Barbera Tunes for 400 points. Hey Boo Boo! The main character of this show is always in a mood for a nice picnic basket or two. What is the Yogi Bear Show? And that's going to wrap up the 400-point questions for today. I hope you guys are batting 12 out of 12 and have so far gotten every single question right. Don't forget, there are going to be not one, but 2 daily doubles this week, so get ready. The Amazing Spider-Man for 600. Aunt May is shot by a hitman hired to take out Spider-Man, leading Peter Parker to make a deal with this character to save her life in exchange for his relationship with Mary Jane. Who is Mephisto? Yeah, that was part of that storyline that ran into One New Day, I think it was called, which eventually becomes the story arc Brand New Day, which I think is going to be the basis for the next Spider-Man movie coming up. Deja Blue for 600. A lab accident led to his immense powers, including the ability to manipulate matter, alter reality and timelines, and change his size, and of course teleport. Who is Dr. Manhattan, the Blue Man himself? Cinema synonyms for 600. The Extraordinary Behemoth. Well, sure, that would be The Incredible Hulk. I'm sure you all saw that movie. Comical mashups for 600. Who are the Tick and Lady Death? Hair-raising characters for 600. He is the leader of the Zoo Crew. They're a badass team of anthropomorphic animals published by DC Comics. And he would be Captain Carrot. Hanna-Barbera Tunes for 600. In the 1950s classic The Jetsons, George Jetson worked for 3 hours a day, 3 days a week for this company. What is Spacely Space Sprockets? Try saying that 3 times real fast. It's pretty hard. And there we have it. Those are the 600 pointers come and gone. Now let's dive into the 800 point round. The Amazing Spider-Man for 800. The Green Goblin kidnaps and subsequently drops Gwen Stacy from this New York City landmark in Amazing Spider-Man issue number 121. What is the Brooklyn Bridge? Now, this is a little bit of a trick question because writer Jerry Conway scripted it as George Washington Bridge, or the George Washington Bridge, but artist Gil Kane drew the Brooklyn Bridge. Now, in a later issue, it is confirmed that it is the Brooklyn Bridge, even though something in the original story did allude to it being the George Washington Bridge. So, kind of a goof. But yeah, the correct answer is the Brooklyn Bridge. Deja Blue for 800. She is the daughter of Nightcrawler and the Scarlet Witch from an alternate reality. And that would be, who is Nocturne? I actually didn't know that one. Cinema synonyms for 800. Vindicators, endless conflict. What is Avengers Infinity War? That one was actually kind of tough. Comical mashups for 800. Yeah, who is Spawn and Batgirl? These ones aren't all that challenging, but they're fun. Hair-raising characters for 800. A green rabbit who was involved in an intergalactic war between the United Animals Federation and the Sinister Toad Empire. Who is Bucky O'Hare? And Hanna-Barbera tunes for 800. What's that sound? Well, it's the Daily Double, the first Daily Double of the episode. And yeah, you know how it works. You can wager as many points as you have previously earned on this question from the category of Hanna-Barbera tunes. Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Followed the adventures of these 4 teenagers and their dog Scooby-Doo. Who are Fred Jones, Daphne Blake, Velma Dinkley, and Shaggy Rogers? Now, I know a lot of you are just going to say their first names. Most people probably didn't know their last names. I'm going to go ahead and give it to you. If you got all 4 first names, that's all you needed. If you happen to get the last names, I don't know, give yourself an extra 800 points on top of whatever you wagered for the Daily Double. Why not? And now on to the 1,000 point questions with The Amazing Spider-Man for 1,000. The motivational phrase, "with great power there must also come great responsibility," was first said in the last panel of Amazing Fantasy number 15. Its first use is credited to this person. Who is the comic book narrator, or Stan Lee, the writer? Yeah, that's going to be a little bit of a trick question. I mean, a lot of people are going to think that it was Uncle Ben, and that's categorically false. But, you know, like, what person said it? Well, you know, Stan Lee wrote it, and he's the narrator of the comic book. So I'm going to go ahead and say that either the comic book narrator or Stan Lee would be correct answers. Deja Blue for 1,000. A fight with a demon fused a stuntman to his exoskeleton costume, transforming him into this character. Who is the Blue Devil? Cinema synonyms for 1,000. And there is that extra Daily Double. I said there was going to be 2 today. There it is. You can, of course, as you know, wager as many points as you have previously earned on this question from Cinema Synonyms. Good luck. The Unlit Cavalier. What is the Dark Knight? Yeah, we workshopped that question with a couple of people and nobody got it right. I think it's kind of obvious once you know the answer, but I think it's going to be hard for a lot of people. I hope you guys got it. Comical mashups for 1,000. Who are Aquaman and Dax the Destroyer, but the old school Dax, not this new-fangled Guardians of the Galaxy movie Dax. Hair-raising characters for 1,000. A rabbit-themed comic character who gained superpowers such as flight and super strength by eating U-235 carrots. Who is the Atomic Rabbit? And finally, Hanna-Barbera tunes for 1,000. Originally created in 1980 for greeting cards, the beloved characters such as Digger Mole, Bogey Orangutan, and Rick Raccoon were adapted to this animated series by Hanna-Barbera. What is Shirt Tales? Yeah, I loved that show when I was a kid. I workshopped this one with a few people and nobody got it right, so I guess I'm one of the few people that actually really enjoyed that cartoon when I was a kid. Now, we're going to go on to The Final Jeopardy question for the week, the category for Final Jeopardy is going to be Watchmen. Yeah, the Alan Moore 12-issue story arc of The Watchmen. Of course, there was a great movie based on it as well. And yeah, even kind of a follow-up HBO series, not to mention other comic books based on the characters in the story. So, you know how it works. You can wager as many points as you want that you have previously earned throughout the course of this show on this question from the category of The Watchmen in Final Jeopardy. Good luck. Let's jump into it. The Watchmen film and comic book series have dramatically different endings, but both schemes are meant to deter nuclear conflict during the height of the Cold War. This man was the architect of both deceptions in both versions of the story. Who is Ozymandias or Adrian Veidt? Yeah, spoiler alert ahead if you guys haven't read or somehow haven't watched the movie The Watchmen yet. First of all, you should read it. It's amazing. Get a graphic novel, printed, bound, trade paperback version. Get it off Amazon or whatever. Like, it's money well spent. But yeah, spoiler. So in the movie, I was talking to a friend about this recently. In the movie, the ending is dramatically different, like the question said, than the comic book. What Ozymandias did in the movie was try to frame, basically, Dr. Manhattan and unite the United States and Russia, or the Soviet Union at the time, against a common enemy, that being Dr. Manhattan. He wanted them to stop fighting each other and to, unite so that they would avert, a nuclear holocaust, basically. Same idea in the comic books. In the movie, he, framed Dr. Manhattan for blowing up New York City, but in the comic books, what he did was he genetically engineered a giant squid monster and make it appear though as if aliens had attacked and destroyed New York City. And again, unite the United States and the Soviet Union against a common threat, in this case, aliens. So, yeah, dramatically different endings. Both, I think, are very good. And the HBO series does actually kind of follow the comic book in the idea that this giant squid monster was responsible for the destruction of New York City. So that was cool to see as well. I'd watched the HBO series too, where I would recommend it. I have actually watched it. Anyway, that will do it today for Comic Book Jeopardy. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. And, hopefully Matt will be back next week to run the game boards for you like normal. Some people are going to notice that this is episode number 30, but we didn't do a double round of Jeopardy like we had been doing every 10 episodes. I mentioned last week that I didn't know if I was going to keep doing the Double Jeopardy episodes because it's extremely time consuming and the performance of these videos has dropped dramatically. Lots of fewer viewers, lots of fewer people subscribing through these videos. It's not like I'm going to quit making them or anything, at least not in the near term. But I'm not going to put the extra work into them every 10 episodes for something that's not really much of a payoff. I think most of you guys enjoy the standard format of 30 questions every week just fine. And it's more important to get an episode done than it is to do something special once every 10 episodes, at least in my opinion. So hopefully you guys don't mind that, yeah, this is just a standard episode, and moving forward, maybe like on episode number 50 or episode number 100, we'll do a bigger episode just, to celebrate a milestone. But yeah, just too much work for every 10 episodes with basically no real extra payoff. But yeah, that said, let's go ahead and wrap this one up for today. Let me thank all of you for tuning in and watching. Let me thank all of the channel members who have signed up and gotten memberships and who vote weekly on the comic book wildcard category. Really appreciate that help a lot. And I'll wrap this one up and say, like I always do, keep collecting comics because we love comic books here. Keep watching our videos because we love when you guys watch. And of course, until the next one, bye now.